and behind NFTs and blockchains, what makes that. But like I said, it's supposed to be unique, and anything that's non-fungible. Like when we say it's something that's non-fungible, it means that it can't be replaced with something else. For example, I would say Bitcoins are fungible. I would say Ethereum or Ether cryptocurrency is fungible. Money, a dollar bill, is fungible, right? And why is that? Because if I give you $1 and I replace it with $1, it's really the same thing to you, right? I mean, if I go, man, I have like a dollar bill or $100 bill, and if I replace that with a dollar bill or $100 bill, it's really the same thing. I have like the same value. I replaced it with something that's not unique, right? So that's fungible. If I have a Bitcoin, and a Bitcoin, what it today is worth, like I haven't looked it up, but it's probably worth about like 22,000. Let's look at the price for Bitcoin real fast. Yeah, so it's $23,658. So if I have an entire Bitcoin worth $23,600, and I replace it with another Bitcoin, I get rid of the Bitcoin I have and I replace it with another Bitcoin, guess what? It's still worth $23,000. I didn't lose anything. I didn't really gain anything. I just replace it with something. That's called being fungible. Non-fungible means that it's unique, that I just can't replace it with something that's of a like value. So, as I said, Bitcoins are fungible. You can trade one Bitcoin for another. You kind of have the same thing. But if you sell like a rare and valued Van Gogh painting, if I have a Van Gogh painting or the Mona Lisa or any of the collectibles that I showed you, or let's say a painting, right? If I take a painting and I go, man, I have this painting, and you replace it with like a little hand painting that I did, and I'm an artist, but I don't have a lot of like fancy pictures and stuff over here. But if I replace it with like a painting, you can probably say like, oh man, this is like pretty awful. Like what the heck, man? This is not the same thing. This is not as much value. Well, you're never gonna get that value. Like even if I replace a Van Gogh with a Mona Lisa, it's not a like for like trade. It's not equal trade, right? Maybe Mona Lisa is obviously going to be worth a lot more. I would probably take that depending on the Van Gogh painting, right? But it's unique. I can't do that trade. So you got to remember something that's non-fungible. And I'm not even talking about NFTs. I'm just talking about the term non-fungible means that it's unique, and hopefully that makes sense. So things that could possibly be non-fungible are tweets. Like if I have like a tweet that came in from a specific person at a specific time, like if I take that unique tweet, not a retweet, not copying a tweet, not retyping a tweet, but if I take that first unique tweet, that could be considered non-fungible. Trading cards, comic books, especially with signatures, anything with a special edition, first edition, even an experience. Like I can say like, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you a private tour of Disney World. We're going to skip every line. Once in a lifetime experience. That can be considered non-fungible because you can't really trade that in, for something that's exactly alike or close to alike. It doesn't have to be exactly alike, but at least close to alike in value, especially if you're not going to get that chance again, right? So it also depends on opportunity as well. Sometimes things are non-fungible because the opportunity just may not be there as well. All right, so it looks like a lot of you guys are tracking with me. So, you have a good question here. You said like you thought Bitcoins are unique. So each Bitcoin is unique by having a unique identifier for sure. But I'm talking about the value of it, right? So I could have a Bitcoin. A Bitcoin has like basically its own hash, its own. So every Bitcoin is uniquely identifiable from another Bitcoin, but the value of that Bitcoin is going to be the same. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's just like a dollar. A dollar is unique. Each US dollar has a serial number on it, right? That serial number shouldn't be anywhere else. But and that's kind of like how Bitcoin is. A Bitcoin is unique in that way. A dollar is unique in that way as well. A US dollar bill. By the way, guys, I apologize. I'm here from the U.S., so when I talk about money and dollar amounts, I'm talking about U.S. dollar amounts. But like I said, even if I take $1 or one Bitcoin or $100 that has its own unique serial number, I traded in for another one, the value is still kind of the same. Hopefully that made sense. And I'm just kind of looking at some of the other questions. Yeah. So things may be valuable, like someone mentioned the Minecraft, examples. Things may be valuable in a certain environment, but maybe not outside that environment as well, and that's okay too. So I'll talk about, and we're going to get into a lot of detail on this, but NFTs, they don't have to be part of the Ethereum blockchain, but for the most part they are. And we're going to talk about how the Ethereum blockchain, like I said, plays into this as well. So this kind of first section, we're just kind of introducing what NFTs are, and then we're going to go into the Ethereum blockchain and smart contracts, because it plays into like the makeup, kind of the technical reasons behind that. So this is kind of the non-technical part a little bit, but from a technical standpoint, okay, someone's asking me, hey, are we going to take a break? Guys, we're just getting started, man. Like, hopefully you got your coffee and stuff. This is basically a 3-hour, like I said, they're part of the Ethereum blockchain. So remember, part of the Ethereum blockchain, we have applications on the Ethereum blockchain. Ether, or ETH, is cryptocurrency that runs on the Ethereum blockchain. You can almost think of Ether or ETH as an application that runs on the Ethereum blockchain. The Ethereum blockchain can run multiple types of applications, including smart contracts, which is what an NFT is really. It's kind of like a smart contract, and we'll talk about that as well. But remember, Ether is cryptocurrency, while Ethereum is the blockchain that powers that cryptocurrency. Ethereum is also the blockchain, for the most part, that powers most NFTs. It's not the only one as well. So basically, the nature of having a security digital ledger, and like I said, hopefully, I know some people didn't hear or take the part 1 of the class, but I will kind of go back and kind of explain this. But in part 1 of the class, we do talk quite heavily on how like blockchains are secure. Like I said, I will cover that as well here real fast in a little bit here. But kind of just that nature of having a secure blockchain allows the creation of NFTs and trading NFTs as well. Now let's just look at some really, really famous NFTs. I think this is going to kind of blow you away. So Jack Dorsey, who's the founder of Twitter, decided he's going to sell his first tweet as an NFT. So that means you have the digital right of that first tweet, and he sold it for $3 million. So Beeple is actually it's kind of the handle, the hacker name, I would say, the online name for an extremely famous artist. And he sold his Crossroads painting for $6.6 million. And CryptoPunk, if you look at like the 2 middle pictures, that's what CryptoPunk is. That's the second picture is actually CryptoPunk number 7804 out of series, and it sold for $7.57 million. And the second picture is actually CryptoPunk 3100, and it sold for $7.58 million. So what CryptoPunk is basically if you have the original and you look very closely, those pictures of those like guys kind of look like stick figures. It's actually made up of very unique characters. It's not like a painting. It's actually made up of like little letters and numbers and ASCII characters that are very, very condensedly put together. And when they're put together in a certain way, they it forms a picture. So the Crossroads, a picture that sold for $6.6 million. That's that first one. It actually looks like it's a little political. It looks like maybe an ex-president to me is in the background, and people are walking over. I mean, I think it was supposed to be meant to be political. So that's kind of what it was. But it's art, basically. That's what I would consider it, just art. And as I said, that art sold for something, sold for a certain amount of money. This was kind of the most amazing one. So the first 5,000 days, it's a piece of art that sold for $69.3 million. You can see a high resolution picture of that on this website here. I'll post a website here just in in the chat channel as well, but you can Google it as well for 5,000 days as well. It was created by Beeple again. Mike Winkelmann is his name. He had a series called the Everyday series. He said it took him it was 13 years of pictures that he compiled for this, so there was actually a lot of work behind this as well. And this is kind of the interesting part of it, right? So it sold for $69.3 million. And people are like, wow, that's a piece of art. But this is kind of where it gets a little tricky, because if you think about this, and I want you guys to put your thinking hat on, it was actually bought by a guy named Metakovan, who actually has his own marketplace. He was actually one of the founders of an NFT marketplace, and so he purchased it. He said he purchased it to actually raise awareness of like how valuable NFTs were. So I feel like it's almost like a pump and dump game. He's actually kind of creating artificial value, because he's like, wow, someone bought the NFTs for like $70 million, so we know NFTs are worth a lot. In fact, when he bought this, he already owned about 20 pieces of other works by Beeple as well, and basically that raised awareness for Beeple and the value of other works that he had from Beeple anyway. So it's kind of like a weird thing. Like, so for example, if you had never heard of Van Gogh and all of a sudden one of his paintings sells for $70 million, you're like, wow, that's like crazy. Can I get other paintings from Van Gogh, and like, are they going to be worth any money as well? So some great questions coming in. Let's see. We're gonna talk about how do NFTs get put in enterprise applications. We're gonna talk about that here, and that's a great question. And not only are you asking that question, a lot of businesses themselves are asking that example as well. BP, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but we'll go into a little more detail. First of all, NFTs, it's not a new thing. It's been around since like 2014. But like I said, in 2021, the NFT market was estimated to be about $41 billion. I believe that's from Forbes. Now, what NFTs do is basically the goal of NFTs, for the most part, and this is Amar speaking, this is me speaking, this is not like the official answer from any NFT foundation, but I believe the goal of NFTs is really to create digital scarcity. It's trying to make things rare. Now, there are scarcity scams that can exist. People, with any type of money you're talking about with this much value, there are going to be scams, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. We're going to touch on that as well. But I believe the goal for NFTs is to really create that scarcity. Now, obviously, like I said, with digital, it's a little harder to do, and that's when we're going to get into blockchains. Now, like, how do you actually work with NFTs and buy NFTs? We're gonna I'll show you some wallets and stuff. But normally, you would buy NFTs from an NFT marketplace or a hosting site. Yes, you can buy from an individual as well. It's a little tougher to do, because the individual kind of needs to know what they're doing by creating their own smart contract around it. But normally, you buy NFTs from an NFT marketplace. And most of the time, you're buying it in Ether currency. There are places they're getting a little more legit. You can use credit cards. You can use bank transfers, other things. But for the most part, most NFTs are still being sold through Ether currency or some sort of cryptocurrency in general. Most places will do some sort of conversion for Bitcoins and other currencies as well. So a lot of people will actually go to a place like Coinbase, buy a whole bunch of Ether or other types of cryptocurrency, and then they'll go to an NFT marketplace and they'll fund their account. They'll transfer that money from Coinbase to an NFT marketplace, and then they'll purchase things. So you need to store NFTs in an NFT wallet, in an NFT compatible wallet. There are, so there's only some wallets. First of all, not every wallet. It's not like you have Bitcoin wallets, you have Ethereum wallets, you have wallets that kind of do multiple cryptocurrencies. Well, you have wallets that basically will do cryptocurrencies and store NFTs as well. So it's basically a wallet is an application, right? So there's multiple wallets and applications. I'm going to show you a couple as well in this course. But you basically store those. You can store them on websites as well. I don't recommend that, because if that website goes away, like what happens if you bought that $70 million painting and all of a sudden you store it on the website, on the marketplace, and they forget to pay their hosting bill? You just lost $70 million, right? It's just like cryptocurrency. You want to make sure you actually have the actual, I would say, NFT yourself in your own wallet that you control. That's important. Like I said, some marketplaces, in fact, almost every marketplace will let you store the NFTs directly with them. That's what a lot of people honestly do. I don't really like that. I like having NFTs that I can like retrieve from the blockchain as well. All right, so some of the more popular NFT wallets are MetaMask. It's probably the most popular one that's out there as well. There's the Mask wallet out there. Now the Mask wallet, for MetaMask, it really supports Ethereum. That's what most people use MetaMask for, is for Ethereum-based NFTs. There are like NFTs on a lot of other blockchains as well. What the Mask wallet does is it supports like over 70 different blockchains. Some people just may decide, some marketplaces may decide to go for another blockchain. Maybe they just want to promote that blockchain. Maybe they feel like transaction costs are a little lower and stuff. And like I said, I'm seeing your questions come in. Once again, I'm going to look for the chat. It's actually working out really well right now. But if you can't put your questions in the Q&A, I will get to them as well. I just may miss something in the chat channel. I feel like I've seen most of them right now, and I know I haven't answered all of them, but I will get to them. Once again, guys, if I don't answer your questions like completely, don't walk away with any questions unanswered. Like I said, please email me as well. But as I said, another wallet is like the Alpha Wallet. Alpha Wallet is an open source wallet. A lot of people, like that. It's a mobile only wallet as well. So a few wallets out there. Now let's talk about some of the top marketplaces. By far, the biggest marketplace for NFTs is called OpenSea. It basically supports multiple types of payments, Ethereum as well as other payments as well. Axie Marketplace. The Axie Marketplace is interesting because it uses the Axie Infinity tokens. You can buy these tokens from Coinbase and other online exchanges as well. They have a value to them. Like a lot of people will like trade, Ethereum or Bitcoins for Infinity tokens, and then you have to buy on the Axie Marketplace with Infinity tokens as well. A couple of big ones: NBA Top Shot. This is the official, NFT marketplace for the National Basketball Association. That's where you can get that LeBron James clip or official clips. It's actually a closed marketplace. That means like everything that you do on that marketplace has to be on the NBA marketplace. You can't really take things with you with in your own NFT wallet. You can to a certain extent, but you don't own the private keys. It does actually. It doesn't use the Ethereum blockchain. It uses the Flow blockchain. It's made by Dapper Labs, extremely popular blockchain as well, but a different blockchain as well. It lets you like buy and sell different types of collectibles and memorabilia and digital clips, digital trading cards from the NBA. So a little different, but like I said, that's how it works. All right, so we got a couple of questions coming in. Let me get to that before we move on. Let me just kind of see what the questions are. Like I said, we will, KK, we will definitely look at like how you can use the NFTs in enterprise. Let's see what the next question is. Okay, and VP, you were basically answering the top question. That's exactly right. I mean, we'll talk about a couple examples. But for example, like there's I forgot. I think maybe it's Gucci or someone that makes like very expensive bags. Maybe I got the provider wrong, but they make very, very expensive bags, and there's a lot of knockoffs of these designer like purses and bags. So what this fashion designer is doing is they actually have a unique serial number in that bag that comes with a unique NFT, and so you can kind of prove like it says like, hey, you know what? Here's like another digital proof that what I have is unique and not. Not a ripoff. It's not a clone of something. It's actually the real bag. So that's like one way of doing that. And also just like tracking things like in the digital world. A lot of providers are using like physical to digital things of that nature. So we'll talk a little bit about that. So absolutely, DH, absolutely. The point of the NFTs that we'll see is to track that you have ownership of that digital asset. Now, that digital asset doesn't necessarily mean you have intellectual rights to that digital asset. It doesn't mean you have ownership or copyright rights or distribution rights. It just means that you have digital rights to that asset, and we'll talk like really what the differences are. Yeah, NFTs are definitely moving, and I got a few questions coming into the into the Q&A as well. We'll get to those too. So when you look for new cryptocurrency, we call that like mining cryptocurrency. With NFTs, when you create your own NFTs, we call that minting. So minting means creating your own NFT. So a lot of NFTs let you sell your NFTs, but you're going to pay like a transaction fee. Traditionally, like when you sold your own NFTs, you have to like publish it on the blockchain. And what that meant was you actually had to like put in like money into that blockchain. You have to do some sort of transaction cost. So if you were selling an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain, that's powered by Ether, the cryptocurrency Ether. That means you basically have to invest Ether into cryptocurrency. Excuse me, you have to invest Ether into NFTs. And so there's a little bit of a difference now. You don't have to do that, but essentially a lot of these marketplaces will charge like some sort of transaction fee. And then there's also a transaction fee when you transfer cryptocurrency. So there's like basically a transfer fee in Bitcoins. In Ether and Ethereum, it's called a gas fee. A gas fee is like, we pay a lot in gas right now, don't we? But it's the same thing with Ethereum. With Ether, you pay a gas fee, which is a transaction fee. So that's one of the kind of drawbacks on that. A lot of marketplaces will do all the back end blockchain for you. You pretty much just need to upload your artwork, your unique piece of whatever you want to sell. It doesn't really have to be art. We'll see a few other things as well. But maybe it's a piece of music, maybe it's some services or something like that. But proof of stake. We'll talk about proof of stake, but a lot of it right now, like I said, Ethereum hasn't quite gone to proof of stake just yet. There are blockchains that are based on proof of stake, but most of Ethereum is still proof of work. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But like I said, once you actually put yourself on a marketplace, you connect that marketplace with your NFT wallet. So a lot of these companies, a lot of these marketplaces are actually coming out with what we call lazy minting. That sounds great, doesn't it? Lazy minting. What is lazy minting? Basically, it means that you upload whatever your NFT you want to sell into the marketplace. You don't need any coding experience. You don't need to actually be a programmer. You're not going to write a smart contract or anything. But it also means that the marketplace doesn't actually write your NFT to the blockchain. There's a little bit of a risk here because you don't write it to the blockchain, but it also means that you avoid a lot of the fees that are out there that are associated with putting something onto the blockchain. They actually write it on the blockchain once that NFT is purchased. So once someone buys the NFT, they basically put added transfer fees and extra fees that are associated with writing it to the blockchain, the gas fees, the transfer fees, so everything of that nature. So basically, it's kind of like in this holding land right now, but it's not officially on the blockchain, which a lot of people initially thought there was risk. So you have to kind of trust that marketplace. That marketplace is going to write things on the blockchain because that's how you actually get that rarity. That's how you get that intellectual. Not intellectual right, but just that property right, that ownership right, when it's on when it's on the blockchain, because it has to be written on the blockchain. But places like OpenSea, people are like, okay, yeah, we know they're gonna after I purchase something on OpenSea, I know they're gonna write it to the blockchain, and then I can actually query the blockchain. A lot of marketplaces actually are charging a higher percentage of this because they're essentially fronting you the money or loaning you the money for putting something on the blockchain. But like I said, they charge a higher fee to the seller and also to the buyer in some cases as well. So this is how the OpenSea marketplace looks like. In fact, I'm going to just open up my web browser here. Just 1 second here, guys.